From KVPR in Fresno, this is Central Valley Daily. It's Friday, June 26th. I'm Sarith Hawk. Bakersfield has deep country music roots. An iconic music venue memorialized one of the city's most famous artists, Buck Owens.
There's not a lot of reasons to come to Bakersfield, but the Crystal Palace was definitely one of them.
The Crystal Palace shut down last year, leaving only the legacy behind. Today, we revisit a conversation with a local journalist who tells us the history of the venue. But first, these headlines. Officials in the city of Orange Cove rejected a pilot project that would blend hydrogen into the city's natural gas supply. The city voted against the idea unanimously during a regular city council meeting on Wednesday night. This came after heavy pushback by residents who said the project was dangerous. Hundreds of residents signed a petition urging the city to reject the project by the Southern California Gas Company. Hydrogen blending has been seen as a way to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. UC Merced laid off more than 20 of its employees earlier this week. As KVPR's Rachel Livenall reports, the move is the latest in a string of terminations to faculty and staff positions at the university.
The news was sent to staff in an email earlier this week. University spokesperson Alyssa Johansson issued a statement to KVPR that said 26 staff positions were impacted. She said the layoffs are a result of funding challenges and broader economic pressures. KVPR reported 3 other staff eliminations to DEI-related offices last fall. At least 25 lecturers have also been laid off or had their contracts canceled over the last 3 years. Johansson said the university remains confident in its future. For KVPR News, I'm Rachel Livenall.
A bill that would ban California State University from replacing faculty with artificial intelligence could soon be on Governor Gavin Newsom's desk. Michael Zinstein, with our California newsroom partner Cal Matters, has the details.
Senator Sabrina Cervantes, a Democrat from Riverside and the author of the bill, spoke about the proposal at a hearing earlier this month.
The growing use of new technology in educational settings has left many faculty members concerned about the impact on them in their classrooms.
There haven't been many examples yet of Cal State attempting to replace faculty labor with artificial intelligence, but just last year, the university system signed a $17 million contract, which it has since renewed, with OpenAI. The first contract was reportedly one of the largest ever established between a higher ed institution and an artificial intelligence company. The California Faculty Association is backing the bill, which has so far garnered no opposition from lawmakers.
That was Cal Matters' Michael Zinstein. A federal lawsuit accuses gas station operators in California of using AI-powered software to illegally raise prices. The proposed class action lawsuit was filed earlier this week. It targets companies like Marathon and Circle K for allegedly violating antitrust laws with a fuel pricing software known as Calibrate. The lawsuit says Calibrate helps coordinate high prices and discourages operators from lowering them. Californians already face high gas prices, and the lawsuit follows similar cases against software companies accused of inflating costs in other industries like housing. A proposed tax measure would establish a local sales tax exclusively for the California Living Museum Zoo in Bakersfield. The proposal earned more than 32,000 signatures from the community to appear on the November ballot. The extra funding aims to help modernize facilities, enhance animal care, and expand the zoo. Calm Zoo is home to more than 200 animals in Kern County.
If you enjoy Central Valley Daily and want even more news, tune into our broadcast. KVPR is Central California's NPR station. Find us on your radio at 89.3 FM in Fresno, 89.1 in Bakersfield, or tell your smart speaker to play KVPR.
And now to our main story. It's been almost a year since the doors to Buck Owens' Crystal Palace closed, and along with it, a key piece of Bakersfield history. The late Buck Owens was a famous country musician and pioneer of the Bakersfield sound, a genre of music with elements of honky-tonk and rock and roll. He established the Crystal Palace in the 90s as a music venue and museum where visitors could find memorabilia in his legendary career on display. Buck loved Bakersfield and lived there until his death in 2006. His family carried on his legacy until the summer of 2024 when they put the iconic venue up for sale for $7 million. A year later, with no buyer in hand, they shuttered the doors to Bakersfield's most famous attraction last August. The owners cited high costs to keep the place running, including $60,000 a month in utilities. Robert Price, a reporter for the NBC affiliate in Bakersfield, KGET, is somewhat of a Buck Owens expert. He wrote a book titled The Bakersfield Sound: How a Generation of Displaced Okies Revolutionized American Music. We revisit his conversation with KVPR's Elizabeth Arkalian, breaking down the cultural significance of the Crystal Palace, but first, the legend behind it, Buck Owens.
Buck Owens, legendary Hall of Fame country music star who settled in Bakersfield in 1952. After probably in about the 1970s, he started thinking about the possibility of a local venue. And of course, many years went by before he got around to it. But he would go to like the Crazy Horse Saloon in Santa Ana, which is a really famous honky-tonk saloon that attracted all the big Nashville stars. The Palomino Club in North Hollywood. He always sort of coveted that kind of thing for Bakersfield, and finally got around to it in about 94. He decided he had the space and the means and the opportunity to build his own place. And construction started in 94. It took an agonizing 2 years to get the thing finished because Buck kept asking for change orders, but they finally got it completed, and it opened in 96. The idea was that it was a museum and a dinner club, and Buck played in some pretty tough places, the Palomino Club and the Crazy Horse. I mean, those were adults-only facilities. They were hard drinking, hard playing bars. He didn't want that for the Crystal Palace. He didn't want that for Bakersfield. It was supposed to be a family-friendly place, and it actually became Bakersfield's top tourist attraction. There's not a lot of reasons to come to Bakersfield, but the Crystal Palace was definitely one of them.
I want to ask about the palace's namesake, of course, Buck Owens, because as you mentioned, he was a visionary behind the venue, opened the space. But for our listeners who might not be familiar with Buck Owens, just tell us a little bit about the mark he left on the genre and on Bakersfield.
Well, Buck was born up on the Red River in Texas. His family moved to Arizona when he was a teenager. He did a lot of agricultural work. He came over to the Central Valley to pick oranges on a regular basis, back and forth. His girlfriend, Bonnie Campbell, who became his wife, was also doing the same sort of back and forth work. She had family members in Bakersfield. And they got married, but it didn't last very long after they had a couple of boys. She moved to Bakersfield. He followed her here. He got a job working at the Blackboard, the famous/infamous honky-tonk in Bakersfield. He was guitar player for a guy named Bill Woods, and later broke off and started his own band. And he got his first minor hit in 1959. By about 1963, he was churning out records on a regular basis and had a pretty amazing run of hits, of number one hits on the country charts. And this was kind of strange to be coming out of Bakersfield. All the hit makers were in Nashville and in other parts of the South. And suddenly along comes this guy from Bakersfield. And then incredibly, here comes another guy from Bakersfield. In 1965, Merle Haggard shows up. Those two guys were the number one and number two record sales artists in the 1960s, both of them out of Bakersfield. Buck made Bakersfield his home. In fact, for a time, it was referred to as Buckersfield. He was always in the parades in his big old long Pontiac with the longhorn horns on the front of the grill. Very generous, held a benefit golf tournament, and really became Mr. Bakersfield in just about every way. Much admired and a common sight in Bakersfield. So it really wasn't surprising that he was kind of overdue to open a place like the Crystal Palace.
The Crystal Palace has attracted major artists over the years. Do you think that's helped shine a light on Bakersfield and on the local country music scene?
Absolutely. You talk to any major artist in Nashville or just about anywhere, and everybody knows about Bakersfield. Almost without fail, whenever they would get on that Crystal Palace stage, they would pay homage to Buck Owens and to the tradition of Bakersfield. And I think it was a huge part of it's played a huge role in keeping Bakersfield relevant when it comes to not just country music, but also a lot of blues and rock and roll.
Do you think the venue also allowed smaller stars to kind of break out if they were able to be on that stage?
It did, because thanks to their affiliation with KUZZ Radio, for a long time, the dominant radio station, period, of any kind in Bakersfield, and still the dominant country music station. They would bring in artists for, I think they called them showcases. If they had a new song on the radio, they would get them out there, put them on stage, and give them a chance to be seen by the local audiences. That was the first time a lot of people around here had seen or heard Taylor Swift. She played here. She came out here with her mother when she was 15 and performed. I've seen some people there who were in the very beginning stages of their career who went on to great fame.
And what do you think's lost when a venue like the Crystal Palace goes away? Because if it goes away in the end, it's not just a music venue. It's also got that museum portion, and it's sort of important to the sense of place that Bakersfield provides people.
Well, it's a huge loss. It would be a huge loss if it truly, truly went away. If bulldozers came out, that would be a huge tragedy. I personally just can't. I think a lot of people can't really see it going away. I think there is this belief that somehow someone is going to step forward and save it. And I don't know if that's just sort of a wishful thinking or what it is, but it has played too important a role. Not just the Crystal Palace, but Bakersfield's country music heritage is such an important part of who this city is, what this city is now. So I remain hopeful and optimistic that it'll be saved, but in what form, I don't think hard rock is going to step up and take over. But does the House of Blues want to establish a House of Country in Bakersfield? I'd be all for that. But this is just wild, optimistic speculation on my part.
That was Elizabeth Arkalian in conversation with KGET reporter and author Robert Price about the closure of the iconic Buck Owens Crystal Palace in Bakersfield. A few months after the Crystal Palace shut down, Hard Rock did open its long-anticipated casino 15 miles south of Bakersfield last November. And that's today's show. Today's episode was produced by Crescencio Rodriguez Delgado, Elizabeth Arkalian, and KVPR, with support from the Central Valley Journalism Collaborative. I'm Sarith Hawk. Find the latest local news anytime at kvpr.org.
Each story you hear on Planet Money starts with a question. What happens if we refund tariffs? Why are groceries so expensive? At NPR, we stand for your right to be curious, because the forces shaping our world can be hard to see. Follow NPR's Planet Money wherever you get your podcasts and start seeing how the economy really works.